Welcome to TheRebel.media. You know, when I was with the Sun News Network, one of my favorite guys to talk with was John Carpay, the boss of the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedom. John is a civil liberties lawyer working for that public interest law firm. He intervened on our behalf. Well, technically, we hired him and paid him to intervene on behalf of others in cases where freedom of speech or freedom of religion was at stake. John joins us again now from Calgary for an update. Hey, John, great to see you again, and welcome to TheRebel.media. We talked so many times at the Sun. I hope you'll continue to talk with us on our new channel.
Well, I'm thrilled to be on your show, and I'm glad to see that you're continuing with your good work.
Well, thanks. And, you know, our viewers have a deep connection to you. Not only do we watch what you're doing and support it, but just last month, we pulled together $10,000 and sent you the check for that. So we're hoping you're putting that towards your freedom of religion activities, especially regarding Trinity Western University. That's what we raised the funds for you for, as you'll recall. Can you give our viewers a legal update? We sent you the 10 grand to help the legal fight. What's new in Nova Scotia, Ontario, and BC that you're involved with?
Well, first of all, my heartfelt thanks to all the people that have contributed to that. The Justice Center does not ask for or receive any funding from government, so it's always voluntary donations. And so we have the in-house legal staff as well as some help from outside counsel. What's happening? First, last month in January, we got a victory in Nova Scotia. The Nova Scotia Supreme Court ruled in favor of the freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of association of Trinity Western and its students. And what's coming up next, this June, the Ontario court is going to hear a similar court action where the Law Society of Upper Canada, Ontario's Law Society, has made the same decision as Nova Scotia and BC and has said Trinity grads are not welcome here. So that's going to be heard in June. And then in BC, there's a court action underway as well, and we're going to be seeking intervenor status for the Justice Center to argue in that case as well for freedom of association. So basically, one down, two to go.
Now, we had you on right after the Nova Scotia court case came down. I was thrilled. Honestly, I was a little bit surprised because when the law societies come out against Christians, I mean, these are senior lawyers. A law society bencher is like the most senior lawyer in the province. They run the affairs of all the lawyers. In fact, being a bencher is really a stepping stone to becoming a judge. So when someone that high up in the legal profession so brazenly says, we don't want Christians from Trinity Western to practice law here, it's stunning. But I guess we found one judge in Nova Scotia who still believes in the Charter, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, and is still following the last Trinity Western court case at the Supreme Court over a decade ago that said, no, you can't ban Christians from Trinity Western from practicing, in that case, the teaching profession. So a flicker of hope.
Well, absolutely. You know, Ezra, it's been said that society never really becomes more tolerant. All that happens from decade to decade and from century to century is that society changes the objects of its intolerance. And, you know, I think you see that. We haven't really made much progress as a society in becoming more tolerant, but it's just the objects change from decade to decade. You know, the judge in Nova Scotia that ruled in favor of the charter freedoms, he's not the only one, because even these law societies, they've made the wrong decision, but the good thing is that they were not unanimous. You know, the Nova Scotia and Ontario decisions were, you know, almost 50-50. So there's a lot of good benchers that were in the minority position. But I think with the court rulings coming in, I think they'll be vindicated. We certainly have a good shot at success in Ontario and BC, like what we had in Nova Scotia.
You know, it's such a self-fulfilling cycle that these anti-Christian lawyers want to do. They're anti-Christian lawyers, and they want to stop Christian lawyers from joining the pool of lawyers. So what better way than to cut off a proposed Christian law school? I mean, it would become worse and worse and worse, because anyone with a dissenting view on morality or Christianity would simply be cut off, and so the pond of lawyers would become stale and only refreshed by other like-minded anti-Christian lawyers. I mean, most lawyers are normal, they're not anti-Christian, but these activists who won the day in these various provinces, they would love to cut off Christian lawyers from the public square. It's so visceral to them. Imagine the ability to shut down a Christian law school. This is truly a key fight for them. I don't think that most Christians even know about this. I think, John, and I want to ask you about this. I'm not Christian myself, I'm Jewish, but I feel like I'm an ally of Christians. You're Christian yourself. Can you explain for me why Canadian Christians are, I mean, turning the other cheek is the wrong phrase, because turning the other cheek is a personal action of absorbing a blow without lowering yourself. But where's the self-respect and the self-preservation amongst Christians? Where are the great Christian organizations, not just Protestant, but Catholic? Where are the bishops? Because if they come for Trinity Western today, they'll come for Catholic school boards tomorrow. Is there no sense that Christians believe Trinity Western is worth fighting for? And I'm not talking about fighting dirty. I'm just talking about using the tools of the public policy process. Where are the Christians, John?
Well, in the Nova Scotia action, as well as in the Ontario action, there are a lot of Christian organizations. There's Christian Higher Education Canada, there's the Evangelical Fellowship of Canada, there's the Canadian Council of Christian Charities, there's the Association for Reformed Political Action, there's the Faith and Freedom Alliance, there's the Catholic Civil Rights League. So there's a good half dozen that have applied for intervenor status, and certainly in Nova Scotia, just pretty much everybody that applied for it received it. In the Ontario court case, there were fewer intervenors, but there were still, most of them got in. My own take on it, the Justice Center is not a religious organization. Majority of the funding that we receive from different people, probably majority is from people who are not Christian. But this is a fundamental freedom issue for all of society because everybody's heard, Martin Niemöller's statement, first they came for the communists, but I didn't speak up because I wasn't a communist. And then they came for the trade unionists, and then they came, so on and so forth. And then at the end of it, it's, and then they came for me and there was nobody left to speak up. But freedom is a seamless net. And this is why I'm thrilled. I get donations from people. They'll enclose with their check. They'll say, I'm firmly pro-choice, but I support the free speech rights of pro-lifers because I understand that's part of a free society. Yeah. Or people will say, I'm a liberal left-wing Jewish lawyer in Victoria, but I support Trinity Western's right to have a law school. They shouldn't be shut down just because they believe in traditional sexual morality that I don't even agree with or care about. So John, it's about the free society.
I get it. So you're saying that you are not, your organization is not Christian. I know that.
No.
And you're saying that some of your supporters are not Christian. I know that. I'm one of them. And you're saying that there were some intervenors who are Christian. I get that. I'm just remarking on the lack of activism or militancy on the part of Christians who, I would put it to you, most Canadian Christians don't even know about that case. I guess that's where we come in, blowing the whistle, because certainly the mainstream media does not like covering the story, and whenever they do, they're viciously hostile against Trinity Western. Listen, John, it was great to get an update from you today. I hope to keep in touch with you. We sent you the $10,000 check. Use it wisely. I know you do. When there is another legal moment, when there's another court hearing or court ruling, when there's the next step in this battle, I look forward to talking to you so you can give our viewers the update that they won't get anywhere else. We'll talk to you then, okay, John?
Thanks, Ezra.
Thanks. You keep up the fight. You're watching TheRebel.media.